In a small village in Nigeria, there lived a group of wives who were very unhappy. Their husbands were mean and treated them badly. The wives' names were Nneka, Ebele, Ifunanya, and Amara. Nneka's husband Jida would yell at her all the time and call her useless. Ebele's husband Obina never let her leave the house alone. Ifunanya's husband Chidi spent all their money on alcohol instead of buying food for the family, and Amara's husband Namdi would hit her whenever she burnt his food. The four wives felt trapped and miserable in their marriages. One day, they came up with a terrible plan to get rid of their husbands for good. Amara's auntie was an herbalist in the village. She gave the wives a special powder made from wood particles that could slowly poison a person if put in their food over time. The wives started secretly sprinkling the powder into their husbands' meals. At first, nothing happened, but after a few weeks the husbands started getting sick to their stomachs. They had no appetite and felt very weak. The more the wives put the poison in their food, the more ill the men became. Within a couple of months, all four husbands had died from the poison. The wives pretended to be very sad, but secretly they were relieved to finally be free from their husbands. With their husbands gone, the wives began living fun, carefree lives. They would go to parties and dance the night away. They spent money on nice clothes and jewellery instead of saving it for the family. Nneka started dating a handsome young man named Ifeanyichukwu. Ebele went out with Chibuike. Ifunanya saw Chidubem and Amara was with Okechukwu. The wives were so happy to have escaped their miserable marriages. Little did they know their carefree new lives were about to come crashing down. One night, the village chief's son got very sick after eating a meal prepared by Nneka. When the herbalist examined him, she could smell the same wood powder poison that she had given to the wives. She realised what the wives had done to their husbands. The herbalist went to the chief and told him everything. The chief was horrified. He ordered his guards to arrest Nneka, Ebele, Ifunanya and Amara immediately. The wives were brought to the chief's hut in chains. They tried to lie and say they did not poison their husbands, but the guards had found the poison powder hidden in their homes. Their new boyfriends would not help them, as they were too afraid of being punished themselves. The chief gave the wives a brutal sentence for their evil crime of killing their husbands. First, he had them publicly beaten in front of the whole village as punishment. The whip lashed their backs until they were bleeding and screaming in pain. Next, the chief took away all of the wives' money and belongings. They were left with nothing. Finally, the wives were banished from the village and sent out into the wild areas alone to fend for themselves. Nneka, Ebele, Ifunanya and Amara had to live in the forest, searching for food and water each day just to survive. They were attacked by wild animals many times and got cuts and bites all over their bodies. Whenever they tried to go to a new village for help, they were chased away because everyone had heard about their horrible crime. The nights in the forest were the worst. The wives would huddle together for warmth, crying themselves to sleep. They regretted what they had done to their poor husbands every single day. If only they had been more patient instead of resorting to murder. After 2 years of struggling just to stay alive in the wilderness, the four wives became very sick from drinking dirty water. One by one, they passed away from the horrible illnesses. In the end, the wives paid the ultimate price for their unforgivable actions.